Let me ask you something uncomfortable. Do you ever feel like no matter how hard you try, you're still stuck in second gear? While others, those so-called geniuses, are sprinting miles ahead with half your effort? Here's the truth. Genius is not your enemy. Your brain's current software is. You're still running on the factory settings, while others have installed hacks, tricks, and rewired upgrades that make their minds laser-focused, addicted to learning, and built for intellectual war. Today, I'm going to give you those upgrades. But listen, this isn't going to be some soft, motivational fluff. I'm talking about raw, deep, and borderline brainwashing tactics that feel so extreme they might even feel illegal. Because average study advice is a scam. Take breaks, use Pomodoro, get 8 hours of sleep. All great if you want average results. But if you're here to outstudy, outfocus, and outlast every so-called genius around you, then you're ready for something different, something dangerous. You see, the human brain is not a storage device. It's a high-speed, programmable supercomputer. But most people, they treat it like an old USB stick. They dump information in, hoping it'll stay, but hope is a terrible strategy. Here's what the elite 1% of learners do. They don't study harder. They don't even study longer. They study in a trance-like state of mental domination. They build obsession. They burn comfort. They create a learning addiction so strong that their brain starts to crave studying more than scrolling, sleeping, or even eating. Sounds crazy? Good. That's the point. Because the moment you start thinking, this is too extreme, is the exact moment a genius is outstudying you without mercy. You must brainwash yourself before the world does, before school, society, and comparison shove you into mediocrity. And don't get it twisted, this isn't about just passing your exams. This is about building a mental empire inside your skull, a version of you so focused, so disciplined, so dangerously productive that even you don't recognize it. Think about this. Your mind has 2 settings, defaults and dominate. The default mind checks Instagram. The dominate mind rewrites biology notes at 3 a.m. like it's survival. The default mind waits for motivation. The dominate mind manufactures obsession. This video is for those who are ready to flip the switch. What I'm about to share are 6 deeply brainwashed study tactics. Tactics that will override your normal brain patterns, destroy procrastination at its root, and force your mind into a hyper-focused mode where studying feels like breathing. But I have to warn you, this isn't easy. Your brain will resist. Your habits will fight back. But if your brain will resist. Your habits will fight back. But if you push through for just a few days, your brain will reprogram.
Because the real secret isn't studying more. It's becoming someone who can't stop studying.
Not because you're scared to fail, but because your mind is now engineered to crave learning. That's when you've overclocked your brain. That's when you don't just match the genius, you become the monster they can't compete with. Now, are you ready to brainwash yourself into the elite 1% of learners? Because once you hear these 6 tactics, there's no going back. You'll either rise or remain the same. Let's begin. Tactic 1. The Identity Override Method. A small Bonston indivalent grouped. Let's get one thing straight. You can't consistently act in a way that contradicts your identity. That's why most people fail to study hard. It's not because of laziness. It's because they still see themselves as someone who struggles with studying. This is where the identity override method becomes dangerous. You stop saying, I have to study, and start saying, I am a high-performance learning machine. I solve problems like a warrior. I don't study because I have to. I study because it's who I am. Why does this work? Because your brain is programmable. What you repeatedly say becomes what you believe. And what you believe becomes what you do. This is why the top 1% look so confident. They've already installed the identity of a top performer.
This tactic doesn't just change your behavior. It rewires the operating system your brain runs on.
Tactic 2. The AntiComfort trigger. A small Bonston indivalent grouped. Let's be honest, most people crave comfort. But what they don't realize is that comfort is silently killing their ambition. You cannot study like a beast if your brain is still in Netflix mode. So here's what you do. Trigger discomfort on purpose. Sit in an upright chair. Turn on harsh lighting. Remove every piece of luxury. Do this before you study. Why? Because discomfort activates the reticular activating system in your brain, the part that says, "Wake up, something serious is happening." It's the same state your brain enters during danger. And guess what? That same alertness now gets funneled into studying with military focus. Once you pair studying with discomfort enough times, your brain forms a connection. Comfort equals rest. Discomfort equals focus. That's how you start entering deep study flow in seconds, not hours. Tactic 3. The dopamine hijacking ritual. This tactic is terrifyingly effective. Your brain runs on dopamine, the chemical of desire. Right now, it's trained to crave scrolling, clicking, and cheap distractions. But what if you took that same craving and hijacked it? Here's how. Before studying, go cold. No music, no food, no social media, just silence, just boredom. Let the brain suffer. Let it itch for stimulation. Then, drop your study material in front of it. Now, something incredible happens. Your brain sees the only source of dopamine left is the textbook, so it adapts. It begins to light up with excitement while reading, memorizing, and solving. Studying becomes your drug. This is how you weaponize boredom and flip dopamine to serve you, not destroy you. It's not just studying, it's chemical reprogramming. Tactic 4. The isolation chamber rule. Approximately 1 minute. Every top performer has a secret location, a space where the brain knows, here, I don't play, I dominate. That's what you're going to create. One room, one time, one purpose. This is your isolation chamber. It doesn't need to be fancy. It just needs to be pure. No snacks, no talking, no distractions. When you repeatedly study in the same environment, your brain associates that space with one behavior: deep focus. It's classical conditioning, like Pavlov's dog, except you're not drooling, you're studying like an elite. You step in, and your brain says, time to work, time to win. Soon, just entering that room triggers a shift in your state, from distracted to dangerous. Tactic 5. The repetition rewire hack. Approximately 1.5 minutes. Let me tell you a secret about genius-level memory. It's not about talent, it's about brutal repetition. The smartest students aren't the ones who understand fast. They're the ones who repeat until it becomes permanent. Here's how you do it. Pick one topic, read it 10 times, rewrite it 5 times, recite it from memory 3 times. You don't move on until that knowledge is carved into your long-term memory like stone. This tactic builds neural highways in your brain, not dirt roads, highways, fast, automatic, unbeatable recall. While others touch a topic once and forget it in 48 hours, you're the one who remembers it cold, even under pressure. This is how champions study, not with more topics, with more intensity per topic. Tactic 6. The mental starvation method. Approximately 1.5 minutes. You've been trained to believe in options. Maybe I'll study, maybe I'll take a break, maybe later. Kill that thinking. Options kill intensity. Here's the brutal truth. The brain works best under pressure, under force, under starvation of alternatives. So say this every morning. Today I have one mission: study. Nothing else exists. Don't give your mind a buffet of decisions. This creates what psychologists call cognitive anchoring. Your mind locks into one task and enters flow faster than ever. That's not productivity. That's a battle mode brain. Be honest. Which of these 6 tactics hit you hardest? Which one are you brave enough to try today? Drop it in the comments. I'll be replying to the most obsessed ones. And remember, you don't need to be born a genius. You just need to study like one.